real quick guys, if you want to help me get more videos out faster, you can donate to the channel at the Cash App down below. This helps me treat these videos more like a job and will help the channel and videos to grow and come out more often. I appreciate anyone who donates or doesn't donate, and don't feel like you have to be a fan of the channel. You can still show your support by liking and commenting on the video, and with that out of the way, hope you enjoyed the video. Welcome back my students to a brand new episode of Comic Class. In today's lesson guys, I want to go over this topic, which is Goku's universal power scaling and why I think it's problematic. Now, I know that when you're talking about Dragon Ball, especially when it comes to the power scaling community, it can get very toxic and no one really agrees. You know, you're gonna get a variety of different opinions. There's people that like to take multipliers as literal fact. There's people that don't. There's people that believe that that Goku is like multiversal because of stuff that happened in the Tournament of Power. There's people that don't. But I'm here to give you my take on why I believe the whole Goku being universal thing has been taken way out of context and is problematic at best. So let's jump into this. So what we're going to be looking at is the stuff that occurred in Dragon Ball Super Chapter 4, which was titled Battle of Gods. And this feat did happen in the anime as well, but we're mainly going to be looking at the manga. And basically what I'm talking about is the feat that Goku had with Beerus, where he fought Beerus on Earth. Now this feat is different compared to in the anime. In the anime, Goku and Beerus were fighting, and I believe they went into the atmosphere of Earth, and from there they were doing their punches to where it was sending shockwaves through the universe and was reaching the Grand Kai's realm. Okay, now in the manga, we get to see that they're actually still on Earth, and the Grand Kai says from Earth they're being able to feel the shockwaves from Goku and Beerus' punches, and that if this continues, that the universe could be destroyed, or will be destroyed. Now, the thing with this, why I find it very problematic, is that the evidence of what the Grand Kai is saying seems to be very, I guess you would say hyperbole. He says everything will be destroyed, right? There is no evidence in the actual panels themselves. I'm not sure if it was shown in the anime or not, but in the panels, at least in the manga version, there is no evidence that the actual stuff is getting destroyed. The biggest problem I have with this, let's say if it was showing it, in the anime if it does show it, the biggest problem I'm having with this is that, in theory, you know, if we're being logical here, and how this feat would work, if it was a shockwave, let's say if we were comparing it to like the antimatter wave from DC Comics that the Anti-Monitor was using to basically destroy universes. I mean, that happened. That's basically what this is. It's supposed to be like a shockwave that's like taking out planets and stuff, and maybe stars. But my problem with this is that Earth itself, right, in the manga, Earth itself is not affected. Earth itself is ground zero for where this clash is happening. Now, there can be arguments that maybe with their punches, there's like a circle around them, and the Earth is not getting affected, just the shockwaves are coming out of the Earth. But there's really no evidence for that. And that's basically trying to make sense of this feat, and to make it where it made sense. You know what I mean? Realistically, the Earth should be destroyed, if that's what's happening. If the universe surely is going to be destroyed, Earth being ground zero should have been destroyed in their first clash, or at least first couple of clashes. So the feat itself is very iffy, and I've been very iffy about this feat since it occurred, like in 2015. I think it occurred, I think it was in 2015 for the manga and the anime, but maybe 2016 for the manga, but definitely the anime was in 2015 when this feat occurred. And ever since this feat occurred, people have claimed that Goku is universal. And I've always had a problem with that, because when you think of it logically, how could you prove that, you know, despite what the Grand Kai is saying? And the thing is with anime, right? We've had tons of anime where they make these grand statements, kind of like Naruto with Amaterasu saying it's as hot as the sun. We know for a fact it's not as hot as the sun due to how our sun works in the real factual world, you know? So stuff like that is just to hype up the feat, basically to hype up the attack. And I feel like that could be applied to this, because nowhere in the panels do we see when they're clashing that the worlds are being destroyed. Now, a shockwave is impressive, and I do agree that that's something we should look at. But there's a difference between having a shockwave and feeling something similar to how when they would power up the world with shade, like when Goku went Super Saiyan 3, and actually destroying the planet. These are things that are massively different and need to be looked at differently. So I've always had a problem with this universal scaling for Goku, and if any Dragon Ball fans are watching this, and you have an explanation as to why Earth was not destroyed in the manga, because they are fighting on the ground, or like in Earth. They're not above Earth, in the atmosphere, they're actually fighting on Earth, and the world is not destroyed. That it's impossible to be universal at that point. You could argue the case that as the waves escape Earth, that they get stronger and stronger, but that's not really a universal attack. That's the potential for a universal attack, but it is not potent enough as a universal attack, like in a single hit. That's not how it's working. And yeah, like I said, I want to make this quick video. There's not really much else to say. I just want to point out some of the things that have always bothered me with this feat, and why I always kind of cringe when people claim that Goku's universal. I believe, and maybe I'll make a video about Dragon Ball power scaling, in how I view it, that I think a lot of people overblow Dragon Ball. But the whole idea of using numbers, like power levels and that, when it's very clear in the actual manga that power levels have never been an indicator for how strong a character actually is, seems to be crazy to me that we're still using that to try to justify the speed, or quantify the speed and the power of these characters, when power levels have never really been reliant since the Saiyan saga. I mean, you can argue the Namek saga as well with Frieza, that power levels were still, like, really irrelevant, but ever since that point, for sure, have not been relevant enough to be able to use them to scale Goku to, like, multiversal and stuff like that, due to Super Saiyan Blue and Ultra Instinct, stuff like that. But that's gonna be it, guys. I don't want to make this too long, because I do think I can make definitely a longer video for Dragon Ball power scaling in general. But I do want to hear from you guys. You know, what do you think? Do you believe, or do you have evidence for Goku being universal that does not include this feat? And if you think I'm looking at this wrong, or you have another way to explain it, please leave it down below, because it's something that's been bothering me since like 2015, 2016. And I've always just wanted a clear answer as to why these things don't occur, and if I'm the only one that considers it to be like a potential universal feat rather than a universal feat at like base. Because I feel like there's a difference between blasting away a universe and actually, you know, becoming that powerful over time. You know what I mean? Because like I said, the feat itself is very similar to what the Anti-Monitor did in the Crisis of Infinite Earth on Infinite Earth's storyline from the 80s, which rebooted the DC universe. In that the Anti-Monitor was using the antimatter wave to basically destroy universes, and these universes were being destroyed in the matter of hours, I think. And DC's universe is ridiculously way bigger than Dragon Ball, so it's a way more impressive feat, but we're not really comparing them. I'm basically just saying that they work in similar ways, but in the case of Goku and Beerus, it wasn't ever shown that stuff was being destroyed, at least in the manga. In the anime, if that is the case in the anime, it makes no sense that Earth itself would not be destroyed, being the center of all where the attack is originating from. It just doesn't make any sense. It's not how explosions work, that's not how damage would work. It just makes no sense altogether. Now you can say it's just bad writing, but in the case of bad writing, this feat itself should not count. And without this feat, I just don't see how you could justify Goku being universal. Now, if you were to ask me, where would I personally put Goku? I think it's very hard, because I will be making a video, like I said, talking about Dragon Ball power scaling, probably sometime in the future on this channel. But at least with the manga, we do know that people like Beerus can destroy planets, well, him and Champa, that are near a similar power level. They can basically destroy planets by jumping off of them, and just like, you know, super speeding off of them or stuff like that, similar to how Superman does in a recent story arc. I think that happened like 2 years ago, in the Justice League 2018 series, something like that. Very similar to that, where you can just destroy planets by jumping off of them. And yeah, so like, it's hard to see something like that and say that Goku is like, you know, despite what people like to say that Cell can blow away, you know, solar system, despite never showing any evidence of even coming close to that. I surely don't believe that Goku is like that. And I think that Toriyama, or, you know, Toyotaru, I guess, who's doing the manga, showing characters like Beerus destroying planets with ease, seems more in the ballpark for maybe getting to those levels. And I just don't think Dragon Ball characters have shown that type of power and those type of feats to put them on those type of high levels. But so it's really hard to say where Goku would be, but I do want to mention that Beerus and Champa definitely can destroy planets with just their bodies alone, which to me is needed if you're going to be talking about putting them in a solar system, galaxy, or a universal range. But yeah, overall, I mean, I really don't know where I would put them, but I would not put them in universal. But I do want to hear from you guys, especially from people that might be really into Dragon Ball power scaling, and how you can explain this into why Earth wasn't destroyed, and where exactly would you get Goku being universal from without using multipliers as your main source. Because like I said, multipliers really don't prove nothing when it comes to Dragon Ball. It just doesn't. It hasn't been relevant since the Namek arc, and I just don't see that as a real argument to put them on that range when they haven't shown feats to be on that range, at least with what I've seen in the manga and in the anime as well. But that's gonna be all, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I haven't really seen anyone make a video like this talking about the problem with putting Goku Universal. It seems like a lot of people just accept it as a fact instead of really thinking about the scene itself. Which is why I want to put this out there, because I'm one of the few critics that I know that really doesn't put Dragon Ball characters in the universal range. Because I just don't accept things like this that aren't clear cut, and truly have things that are putting it to where it just doesn't make sense in the sense of the feat itself. And, you know, the stuff that would happen if they were doing these feats. But yeah, but that's gonna be all, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like. I will be making that Dragon Ball Power Scale video probably sometime soon. And Dragon Ball won't be a main part of my channel because I do like the series. It was part of my childhood. But I'm more into comic books. I'm a comic channel, not really into the whole, you know, doing anime and manga stuff. With the exception of my Naruto versus series against DC and Marvel Comics. So don't expect a lot of Dragon Ball stuff, but I do want to make the Dragon Ball Power Scale video in general on how I view the series in a power scaling sense. So I think that will be very important if I were to ever cover fighters from the universe in the future. That's going to be all, guys. Until next video, God bless you. Until the next lesson, keep on reading those comments.